Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Was the 10th Jinchuuriki. This story is made by OwlAway, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Taking her Konoha headband from its place on her dresser, Sakura sighed. She tied it around her head, carefully picking strands of pink hair from behind her ears, and she gave her reflection a small smile. Today'll make them proud. And with that she gathered up her gloves and left her bedroom, after briefly glancing at her Team 7 photograph. She did that less and less now. Look at the picture that is, it brought back too many painful memories. She needed to make up for those memories. Pulling her gloves on, she stepped out into the streets of Konoha, missing breakfast as usual now. As she stepped into the bright sunshine, she closed her eyes against the glare. I wonder if Team Kakashi has any missions today. It would be nice to spend more time with Kakashi-sensei and Naruto. I'm always with Tsunade-sama when there aren't any missions, so I haven't really caught up with my friends. That Tsunade had better watch out. I need me time, I tell ya. Shut up you, just cause you have inner Sakura stamped on your head does not mean you can contradict everything I say. Whatever, watch out, you're walking into people. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Hey, Sakura-chan. Sakura's head snapped up. She was at the Hokage's building and a familiar orange figure was running toward her. Naruto. Hi. Have you seen that Yamato guy or our nasty new teammate? I thought we were meeting up here today, before the meeting on the bridge. I want to see if we have any missions today. What is it? Naruto was rubbing the back of his head, his face betraying the fact that he wasn't pleased with how this conversation was going. Nothing, it's just we just got back yesterday from the last mission. Don't you think that Granny Tsunade will give us a break, Ow? What was that for? The pink-haired girl had just hit him across the face, not hard enough to break anything, she thought. Don't talk about the Hokage that way. You should have more respect. Did Jiraiya-sama teach you nothing in those 2 years? You haven't changed at all, have you? And with that she crossed her arms and turned her head away in contempt of her friend. Sorry Sakura-chan, I forgot my manners. Naruto kept his eyes on the girl's face. Ero-sennin had taught him how to apologize to women. It was something that he knew would come in handy with the mini Tsunade. Thanks Ero-sennin, really, thanks. Quote. And I'll keep it in mind next time. He looked at her earnestly, searching for a sign that she was at least contemplating forgiving him. Sakura sighed. What could she say? That was one heck of an apology for such a small thing. Though she had hit him pretty hard. Okay Naruto, I forgive you, she smiled at him, and I guess you're right about Tsunade-sama giving us a break after our last mission involved Akatsuki. She stopped. Akatsuki. The shinobi group that was out to collect all of the Jinchuuriki and them in order to possess the spirits inside them. Naruto had the QB inside of him, so he was on their list. She looked away from her blonde friend, not smiling anymore. If Naruto got K, what would I do? The question came out of nowhere, but it was a good one. Without the number 1 hyperactive ninja, what would Sakura do? She'd be on her own again, but this time without any hope of seeing either of her former teammates again. She couldn't bring Sasuke back on her own, and she would get bored without Naruto. She had other friends too, but when Naruto was training with Jiraiya, she'd had to focus on her training with Tsunade to stop herself from thinking about how much she missed him. He was her best friend. More than Ino. Sakura-chan. Are you okay? He was waving his hand in front of her face with a frown on his. You kinda spaced out there, you sick? What? No. I'm fine, I'm fine. She smiled to reassure him. You're sure you're not sick? I think I'd know. I guess. Naruto leaned against the wall of the Hokage's building, resting his head against the door frame. A slight breeze made the two close their eyes and lift their heads slightly to enjoy the sensation of the cool wind on their faces. When their eyes opened again, they found that they had been joined by a silver-haired man wearing a mask holding, as always, a small green book. Kakashi-sensei, you're meant to be resting. The two younger ninjas cried in unison, before simultaneously adding, though I guess it's to be expected. Sorry kids, I had to help an old lady down from a rooftop. Are you kidding me? Naruto lunged for the Junin, but the girl held him back. Leave it, Naruto. But, leave it. The boy visibly quailed under the glare of the female ninja, and Kakashi smiled to himself. Those two. They really were quite cute together. Mental and physical strength, heaven and earth, they actually complemented each other perfectly, really. It was perfectly obvious to Kakashi that Naruto loved Sakura, and, even though she probably didn't know it herself, Sakura, in turn, loved Naruto back. If they were given a chance, I know that they would find each other. How cute it would be. My two sweet students falling in love. Kakashi looked up at Tsunde's office window and was suddenly struck by an idea. Could you two wait here for a bit? I need to ask the Hokage something. The two younger ninja blinked at him, stunned. What the hell was Kakashi going to ask the Hokage? And why couldn't they hear it? Naruto glanced at his pink-haired teammate to make sure that it wasn't just him who didn't understand. He was quite relieved when he saw that she was, well, a little bemused. As Kakashi left them outside, they felt another cool wind and looked to the sky. Those clouds look dangerous. Sakura started. Nah, who's scared of some clouds? Naruto grinned, rubbing the back of his head in an attempt to impress the girl, who gave him nothing but a quick glare. What, Sakura-chan? If we have a mission, we need to take the weather into account. A storm would cause huge problems, barked Naruto, and she hit him again, but not hard enough to hurt him. Okay, sorry Sakura-chan. It's okay Naruto, it's not a big deal. She smiled. You're apologizing a lot lately. I know, I'm sore. Sorry, but really, stop now. She smiled again and was pleasantly surprised when she saw that he blushed in embarrassment, his whiskered cheeks going faintly pink. He's grown up a lot, really. He has more sense than before, which is a little sad, since his idiocy was such a part of him, but his hope, determination and unwavering sense of protectiveness hasn't gone anywhere. I'm glad. Plus he's hot. Shut up you. What? You know it's true, he was pretty cute before, now he's matured, he's even better. What the hell are you talking about? Naruto's a friend, that's all. I still love Sasuke. Naruto is my best friend, but I don't like him that way. Although. Aha. No. I mean he's nice. He's the nicest guy, the first no, and I know that he's been treated awfully by the other villages, and me too. I've treated him like crap, but not anymore, because he's one of my precious people, someone who I will protect with my life, like he will for me, because he means a lot to me, and I think he feels the same. So whatever you think, I don't love him like I do Sasuke. But he's important to me. Whatever, just don't mess anything up with this one. I wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Naruto asked, surprised at her outburst seemingly out of place. Are you sure that you're not ill? He said, remembering what happened before. Sakura just smiled at him. Nothing, I'm not ill, just thinking. Thinking about what? Sasuke, I guess. Oh. Naruto scuffed his feet in the dirt as he looked up at the sky. I really am sorry that I couldn't bring him back, Sakura-chan. I know Naruto. I know. What exactly are you saying, Kakashi? Tsunede's grip tightened on her sake bottle as she poured herself another cup. The masked ninja standing before her smiled. Well, at least she thought he'd smiled. It was just like him to smile when she was annoyed. Well, it's pretty simple actually. Is that what I asked? She glared. Kakashi tucked his book into his weapons pouch, sighing. I just think that the kids could do with a break. They've fought Akatsuki and are pretty wiped out. I'd like your permission to take them on holiday. Quote. On holiday. Tsunade blinked. Quote. Why? I think I just said. You think I'd fall for that? You're up to something, Kakashi. I know you, I can tell. Fine. I just think that those two are kind of cute together is all, and in my book. Tsunade s her fist into the table, shattering the wood and making Kakashi jump backwards, but her expression was more like that of someone about to laugh in excitement than that of an angry Hokage. That's a stupid idea, Kakashi. I have a better one. Quote. Wait, what? Naruto couldn't shake this feeling. He knew that it was their ultimate goal, to bring back Sasuke, but he couldn't help feeling like he'd just been turned down. He put a hand to his stomach. He could feel the Kyuubi getting irritated, but then again, the Kyuubi was easily annoyed. He closed his eyes and remembered the day that he'd made that promise to Sakura. That time, she'd come to him, crying, shaking, unable to talk properly. Naruto had felt his heart tear, seeing her like that. So he'd made the promise of a lifetime, and then he'd failed. Then, in Orochimaru's lair, when fighting the image of Kabuto, she'd almost thrown her life away, because she thought she was a hindrance. As if, when he'd returned to Konoha after about 2 years, he came back to find her so much stronger, physically and mentally. She'd even defeated Sasori of the Akatsuki alongside Elder Chio. She was amazing, and Naruto knew that he still loved her as much as before. No, he loved her even more. But he knew that she'd never love him back, partly because of the Kyuubi, but mostly because she loved Sasuke. Quit whining, kid, I'm trying to sleep. What? You're talking to me? Yeah, you're giving me a headache, brat. Now be a good boy, and cause me no problems. Whatever, Baka Kitsune. What did you just call me? Naruto kicked at the dust, frustrated that he was the one who became the Kyuubi's Jinchuuriki. Naruto, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned him. Naruto's head snapped up, and his eyes were wide. It's fine, and by the way, who's apologizing now? He grinned and Sakura grinned back. Looking up he grumbled, how long do you think Kakashi-sensei will be? I'm getting really bored. He glanced at his companion sidelong and saw that she was watching him intently. Sakura-chan, oh my god, Naruto. Sakura. Naruto looked to the source of the voice and saw Ino, Shikamaru and Chuji walking up the road towards them. Sakura raised an eyebrow at them, but Ino ignored her expression and started chatting to her. Sakura glanced apologetically at Naruto for Ino's interruption before reluctantly being drawn into the conversation. Shikamaru and Chuji greeted Naruto briefly before taking their places beside him, looking up at the clouds. They hadn't been this way long before Kakashi appeared at the doorway with his book. He glanced at the sky once to see what the boys were looking at, but when he saw nothing but the oncoming storm he walked off, followed quickly by Naruto and Sakura. Did Tsunade-sama give us a mission, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked him as they entered the village center. Kakashi didn't look at her. Well, yes actually, she did, but without Yamato or Sai. Naruto smiled, loving the idea of an action-packed, A-class mission, and without Sai, but his hopes were shattered as Kakashi said. You're to go into the mountains to collect a package for her before the storm breaks. Hokage-sama said it was a very fragile package. So you have to hurry there. Sakura nodded and Naruto just sighed, typical. As the only genin in his age group, he knew that he'd only get these crappy missions. The mission to save Gaara had only been given to Team Kakashi because they were available and it was an emergency. Kakashi-sensei, what's the package? He asked, thinking that he might as well do the mission well if he was going to do it, which he had to, or Sakura would hit him again. Kakashi glanced at the boy. I don't know. What? Naruto yelled, you don't know. Sakura sighed at her friend's reaction. He'd matured a bit, or at least he'd tried to. But he wasn't much different from before. Which is good in a way, he wouldn't be Naruto otherwise. And the guy has a point, how can we collect a package we know nothing about? I swear Master's going too far. Hell yeah. Yeah, the package. I wonder how we'll get it. Where do we collect the package from, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, ignoring her own thoughts and Naruto's complaints. I mean, is someone waiting for us? Yes actually. Near the peak there is a small building, the owner has the package ready for Hokage-sama, he will hand it over. Oh, wait. Kakashi stopped in his tracks, lost in thought. I'd better go. The other two ninjas stopped too, glaring at him dangerously. What do you mean? You're going to rest, right, Kakashi-sensei? The boy growled. Sakura clenched her fist and Kakashi took a step back. He's right, Kakashi-sensei, you'd better not go off on some sort of pervy trip like Jiraiya. She said in a low, dangerous tone. Kakashi nodded but still said. I'll go and rest later. I'm sorry guys, I'll write down the details for you but there's something I have to do. Sorry, I'll make it up to you after. Hey, how about I buy you both ramen? Kakashi smiled to himself as he saw Naruto's eyes light up at the thought of free ramen. But Sakura was harder to persuade, so he just said, I know you'll do well, you shouldn't encounter any enemies on this mission, and the Akatsuki aren't going to show up. He knew this was the problem and wanted to reassure her. When he saw her begin to relax, he handed over the mission details and began to walk away, before remembering something very important. Sakura, could I talk to you for a moment? As Naruto watched Kakashi talking to Sakura, he felt his stomach growl, and it wasn't the Kyuubi causing it. Damn, This talk of ramen has made me hungry, and we're only a short walk from Ichiraku's ramen store. You know what's a good idea? Trashing this crappy village. Good times. Quiet you. Naruto. Are you alright? Sakura appeared at his side. Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. Naruto rubbed his head, smiling. Sure, Sakura-chan. Just hungry. The girl paused for a moment. Quote. I guess we have a little time to eat something before leaving. Alright, let's go. And he dragged her behind him as he rushed to the familiar store. To be greeted by the owner and his daughter with big smiles. Every time he came here as a kid, he'd be greeted and welcomed. It was a completely different atmosphere to the other shops in Konoha. The owners had always turned him away, calling him a monster, but these two had never cared about the QB inside him. What do you want, Sakura-chan? I'm having miso pork ramen, man, I'm hungry. They sat down as the only other customer left the shop. Whatever, the same please. Coming right up. Good to see you again, Naruto. Thanks. Naruto beamed, turning to the owner and getting out his green frog-shaped purse. How much? Sakura looked up. I'll pay for myself, Naruto, it's alright. No, my treat this time. He grinned at her, handing over the money. So what did Kakashi-sensei want? Sakura looked away. I can't tell him, can I? Kakashi-sensei didn't tell me not to, but. So Naruto, are you two out on a date? Ayami leaned on the counter and smiled at the two ninjas, who had just been served their ramen. She saw Sakura glance up quickly before raising an eyebrow. A date? Us? No. We're just about to go and collect something for Tsunade-sama. Also, Kakashi-sensei suddenly decides that he isn't taking part in this mission, so Naruto and I have to go up into the mountains, collect this package and return it before the storm breaks. She gestured at the sky with her chopsticks, which will be difficult, I'm sure it's almost here. Naruto smiled weakly. Yeah. Ayami glanced sidelong at Naruto, and couldn't help smiling at his expression. She knew that he liked the girl, but he was able to grin and bear it now. He really was growing up. Naruto's face had flickered with disappointment, but he was now eating his ramen as though nothing had been said. The pink-haired Kanoiki next to him elbowed him in the side, and, smiling, said, Don't eat too much, Naruto, we have to go soon. Those clouds are coming in fast. Both of them finished their ramen quickly and left the shop after thanking Ayami and her father. The shop owner looked at his daughter knowingly and smiled. She understood. So that's why Kakashi left so quickly, he's hiding from them. I think those two are going to get tricked into something on this mission of theirs, and I think Kakashi's doing it to them. I wonder why. He shrugged and ducked into the back room to get some more pork. As Naruto and Sakura left the village, they looked back as they felt someone watching them, but when they couldn't see anything, they glanced warily at each other before setting off again. Both ninja had their backpacks filled with weapons, supplies and camping equipment in case they got caught in the storm, but Sakura also carried medical equipment, just in case they showed up and she needed to heal someone. Namely Naruto. I wonder what Kakashi-sensei is doing. Sakura murmured quietly. Naruto smiled. Probably just rereading that book Ero-Sennen wrote. He's not been doing much else when on breaks. I just don't get why he's leaving us to it. It doesn't make sense. He put his hands behind his head and walked that way for a while, only bringing them down when he heard a twig snap behind them. We should move quickly anyway. Just what I was about to say. Sakura smiled grimly. Someone from the village was following them. Who? Why? It hardly mattered, this wasn't an important mission anyway. The pair launched themselves up into the trees and leapt from branch to branch, ever conscious of the fact that their pursuer continued to follow them. Kakashi-sensei's instructions are pretty clear, Sakura said in a fairly low voice so that only Naruto could hear. We climb that mountain there and the package is near the peak, but since we're being followed, maybe we should go up the other mountain and set a trap, crossing that gorge by a wire, then retrieving the package, and, then, if necessary, confront our pursuer on the way back. She waited for her teammate's assent. He nodded his approval but murmured. What if the trap doesn't work? It doesn't have to work, we can just use it to delay this guy while we cross the gorge. Once we're on the other side, it will take him a while to cross, and that's if he knows where we are. Good point, I don't think it's a high-ranking ninja anyway, they're being pretty clumsy. Maybe, but don't let your guard down, we don't even know what this package is. Got it. We've never done a mission on our own before, Naruto thought, who knows? It could be fun. Yeah, kid, don't you think about anything other than missions? You do good as a S. Why are you still talking to me? We've barely spoken in 16 years, why start this regular thing now? I got bored, but to be honest, this chatting thing isn't much better. Try K people, seriously, start with her. No. If you dare touch her, I swear'll. You'll what? K me. The demon fox laughed, and Naruto had to clutch his hand to his head. It hurt. God, it hurt. I won't S kid, I'll not S until you do, and you can't S until you bring back Sasuke and become Hokage, right? So there's nothing you can do to me. Because you promised her. Sakura had noticed her friend's pain, and, after watching him for a little while, deduced that the cause was that thing inside him. She wasn't stupid, she had researched the Kyuubi in her free time when she'd been training with Tsunade. Looking back, it wasn't unlikely that Tsunade had actually intended for Sakura to find out. Letting her have unlimited access to all her files, dropping odd hints about the demon fox's attack on the village. The book with the information in it had actually been on top of a book she'd asked Sakura to fetch. No, Tsunade wouldn't have intentionally let it slip, would she? The third had made discussion of Naruto being the Kyuubi's Jinchuuriki illegal, but after discovering the truth, Sakura had researched the Kyuubi rigorously until she was confident that she knew all the facts, and then she cried. Naruto had endured so much, and she'd been no help at all, she hadn't even known why everyone avoided him. She'd confronted her parents about it, and the looks on their faces told her that they knew, and had always known. Naruto, is it the Kyuubi? You look in pain. She whispered, her eyes didn't move from his face as she waited for him to answer her. Naruto kept his eyes averted and pretended not to have heard. She sighed and turned her attention back to the trees in front of her. He didn't want to share it with her, didn't he know that she wanted to help him? Why was she asking him that? Didn't she know that he wanted to keep her away from the demon fox? Didn't she understand how dangerous the Kyuubi really was? He hadn't ever wanted her to find out about it, but he supposed it was inevitable that she would find out. She was too intelligent not to. As they continued on towards the mountains, they were each lost in their own thoughts, both sets of thoughts about the other person, both sets of thoughts worried. The clouds kept rolling in, blue streaks running along them. Tsunade sat in her office, looking out the window at the village, her village. She shook her head, she still couldn't believe that she'd actually become the Hokage, something that was always a terrible idea to her. Her brother, her lover, and Naruto, shared the dream that had instead been thrust upon her, someone who hated the prospect, thinking it a disgusting, pointless job. Well, she had thought that, once. She reached for her sake bottle, and took a swig without pouring it into the cup that sat before her, on top of a pile of paperwork. Please, no more. But the knock at her door signaled the arrival of Shikamaru and more paperwork, mission reports, mission requests, arrivals and departures of various people within the village. She sighed heavily and grunted her permission to enter. Shikamaru opened the door and carried in another massive pile of files and papers. He staggered slightly as he approached the desk and laid them down with a thud. He raised his heavily lidded gaze to the Hokage and separated the files into 5 large piles and 1 smaller one. Tsunade quickly took the smaller pile and opened it, raising her eyebrows when she saw that it was lead. Departures. Shikamaru pointed to the other 5 and said, arrivals, mission requests, mission reports, village accounts and your personal debts. Fine, I get it, just go. Tsunade snapped, glancing down the names of departing people. Man, loads of people come, and then stay for the hospitality, or the freaking tourist novelty of such a prosperous ninja village. She reached the most recent departures and laughed softly. So you followed him, eh? Well, I must say I'm surprised, but after all, what can I do? I'm only the Hokage. She laughed softly, and sat back in her chair, looking outside at the storm. She touched her N, where she used to wear her necklace and frowned in concern. Maybe I shouldn't have agreed to this. Keep them safe. As they neared the base of the mountain, Sakura and Naruto reached into their backpacks and pulled out wires and kunai knives. They listened to make sure that their follower was still there, and then rushed forwards to set up the trap out of sight. Naruto's Rasengan dug the hole and Sakura cast the genjutsu to hide it. Then, a little before the hole, they strung up a tripwire and kunai trap. Running around the bend, they grinned at each other. They'd done it all in 4 seconds. Not too shabby. Naruto reached into his kunai pouch and pulled out a kunai with some rope attached to it. He pulled back his arm to throw, but Sakura stopped his hand with hers. He looked down to see her smiling coyly. She held out her hand for the kunai. Oh, I guess you're right. Naruto had forgotten how strong she was now. She took the knife and threw the kunai. It buried itself deep into the rock on the other side of the gorge. She held the end of the rope as Naruto crossed first. He cringed. It was a bruise to his male ego, but she was the strongest. He then watched her swing across and helped her over the edge of the mountainside. They were now on a narrow rocky path that went on a steep incline before sharply turning left out of sight. Sakura pulled out the kunai and rope before the sharp twang of metal wire sounded across the gorge, and they rushed up the mountain, slipping out of view. Come on, Naruto, we're nearly there now. The pink-haired Kunoichi grabbed her partner's hand without thinking and half-dragged him up the mountain. What's the matter? Am I going too fast? Ah. She let go of his hand. Naruto's face had colored a light shade of pink, which was almost a match for Sakura's hair. She reached in her pack and fished out a bottle of water. Here. She offered it to him and continued up the mountain. Idiot girl, that's not why. He hesitated. You fool. What do you mean? He was out of breath. Since when does he get that out of breath so easily? ... Oh, save it, girl, honestly, and people call you intelligent. Leave me alone. They neared the peak of the mountain and saw a small run-down shack near the edge of a steep drop. Naruto's eyes widened. Is this the place? What the hell could Granny Tsunade want from here? Naruto, don't call her that. It's disrespectful. Sorry, Sakura-chan. Sigh. They slowly approached the small cabin. It was very small and abandoned looking. Was there really anyone inside? As they neared the door, there was a crash of lightning and both ninjas jumped, Sakura emitting a small squeak of surprise. Then they both laughed a little. Nervous? Sakura challenged. Naruto grinned and adjusted his forehead protector. Nah, you. Course not. She took a deep breath and reached for the handle, but jumped back as she felt a small shock pulse through her black leather gloves. This isn't right, she murmured. The door is rigged. Naruto nodded and walked round to the dirty window by the door, peering through into the single room. There's no one inside, but there's a parcel on a table in the middle. Another test. Sakura hissed. I thought Master was done with all that. Damn it. Alright, Naruto. Any ideas? She looked to him with a relaxed expression. It made his stomach flutter. Sakura was asking him for advice on this test. She'd done it a couple of times, but it still made him happy. He nodded, beaming. There's a way in up at the top, I think. I saw a small gap in the roof, but I'm not sure if it's big enough. He pointed up at the roof, and it might be guarded by traps. It's worth checking. Give me a boost. I'll pull you up after. Naruto obediently knelt on the floor and provided a foothold with his hands. Sakura used focused chakra so that she wouldn't fall and scrambled onto the surprisingly high roof. Then, kneeling over the edge, she offered her hand to Naruto. When they were both on the roof, Sakura saw what Naruto had meant. There was a small gap in the roof tiles near the top. You spotted that with one check. Wow. Naruto couldn't help a small blush. He was still susceptible to these compliments, and they still made him warm inside. He was getting them more and more now, but that didn't change the reaction. After Sakura had checked for traps, Naruto helped her tear away at the roof tiles until the hole was just big enough to slip through. Naruto went first and landed softly on the wooden floor. He checked the room over quickly before beckoning for Sakura to join him. She too landed noiselessly in the old floorboards. They both stood still for a few moments, holding their breaths. Sakura glanced warily at Naruto when nothing happened. He frowned. It shouldn't be this easy. His friend nodded in agreement and they slowly approached the box on the table. Looking at each other as they did so, they reached out for the package simultaneously. And they both ducked up to avoid 5 kunai flying towards them from traps in the walls. Naruto exclaimed as a trap door opened beneath them. He went to jump up, reaching to catch Sakura as he used to save her, but she had already jumped away from the trap door and had reached to catch him. They landed either side and laughed a little at their reactions. Don't swear in front of a lady, Naruto. Sakura scolded, keeping her senses alert for further traps. Naruto just smiled, reaching for the package a second time. Second time lucky. Don't jinx it. He picked up the brown paper-wrapped parcel slowly. When nothing happened, he checked it over and quickly tucked it into his backpack. He gave his companion the thumbs up and she laughed happily. He was still relaxed and cheerful even when they were being tested by the Hokage. Now we have to get out. She trailed off. Above them, the hole in the roof was sealing up. Damn it. Well, it couldn't have been that easy, could it? They stood back to back, holding a kunai each. The girl's green eyes narrowed and she tensed, ready to avoid any attack. She turned her head to the left and then to the right. The windows were now boarded up. There was no light except that of a small candle in one corner. It had almost burned out. Sakura looked closely. It wasn't an explosive, just a candle. She sighed in relief. The candle fizzled out. Suddenly the whole room was lit. Exploding tags. There was no time. They grabbed each other's arms and jumped down the trap door. Naruto felt the shockwaves of the explosion and looked up to see flames chasing him as they fell. He held tight onto the girl's wrists and she had caught his. They were falling back to back, waiting for the floor to come. As the flames receded, the two teenagers gathered chakra in their feet and held onto the walls of the hole. Panting heavily, Naruto released Sakura's wrists and they stood still in the darkness. How far down do you think this goes? We must have fallen pretty far already. Naruto grunted. I think we should keep going. What? Are you stupid? We don't know what's down there. Well, I'm going. He released the chakra in his feet and dropped down. Sakura, who had been leaning against him, fell upside down against the wall. She was not best pleased. Naruto. Barker Naruto. Wait till I get my hands on him. Well, I have no choice now, I can't leave him. And she too let herself drop down into the blackness, closing her eyes. I swear, Naruto, if either of us I'll K you. Wait. That makes no sense. I know, damn it. Well, I'll do something to him. K him. What? Where did that come from? Look out. Sakura landed softly on the stone floor of a dimly lit cave. Oil lamps burned on the walls and there were 3 passages leading in different directions. Naruto was sat on the floor with his hands on his knees looking from one to the other. As Sakura approached him, he turned his head to face her. He was wearing a smirk on his face. Really, Naruto, you shouldn't be so impulsive. What are we going to do now? He pointed to one of the passages with certainty. That one. Gut instinct isn't credible enough, Naruto. Why that way? She stopped in surprise. Oh. 2 shadow clones emerged from the other passages to the one that Naruto had pointed to. Naruto smiled good-naturedly. The other 2 couldn't get out. Fair enough then. Sakura smiled back shamefacedly. She shouldn't have doubted him. He was more tactical than before. Still impulsive, but more tactical. She started to say something but stopped herself. Why was she going to say that? She'd already told him he was good. He didn't need to hear it again. He'd get too egotistical, like Sasuke had been. He'd become furious towards the end because he could see Naruto surpassing him. What? Don't you dare badmouth Sasuke. Why did I think that? He was angry because if Itachi, it wasn't his fault, anyone would have behaved the same. No, not anyone. Naruto wouldn't. True. Yeah. Hey Sakura-chan, are you coming? What? Oh yeah. Kinda spaced out there. He smiled, and offered her his hand. She raised her eyebrows, but took it, and he blushed a little bit, his lined cheeks turning pink. You might faint. He justified. She shook her head. I'm fine. She protested, but she didn't take her hand away. Together they ran off down the passage. Shizune and Tonton watched the cabin explode. Tonton squealed sadly, but Shizune just watched. They wouldn't have been blown up. The trapdoor had been opened, she was sure. Now she just had to wait at the exit. She put a hand to AC on her ankle, healing it. How did I get caught off guard by that? Sure, they'd not had long to set a trap, but I know what Sakura can do. There's no excuse, and now I have to waste chakra. Tonton scampered towards the wreckage. Tonton, they won't be there. Shizune called out to the small pig, which then looked back and returned to her friend. We have to go and fight them soon. Soon its test will be meaningless otherwise. The black-haired girl put on her mask and pulled up her hood. Do you think they'll recognize me? Tonton shook her head no. Good. Light. Naruto could see it. Spurred on by the thought of daylight, he sped up, and Sakura was perhaps even more enthused at the thought of the open air and she overtook him, running ahead slightly, but all the while keeping an eye out for traps that Naruto had not noticed with his shadow clone technique. She saw a couple that had been set off by the cage bunchen, but other than that, nothing. They both stood at the mouth of the cave taking in the view. The light wasn't as bright as they had thought from inside. Dark clouds loomed over Konoha in the distance, and they could clearly see lightning coming towards them. A deep rumble caused Sakura's face to contort with concern. We need to find somewhere safe to sit this out. We were told that the package is fragile and we can't fail the test now. I think Naruto. He was looking down the mountain at something Sakura couldn't see. There's another cave down there. It'll be a bit difficult to get to, but it'll be dry at least. He grinned at her and started to climb down the rocky slope. Sakura watched him for a while before following. She felt another pang of respect for his observational skills and knew that he was a lot more capable than she had ever thought he could be. I'm sorry I underestimated you, Naruto. You really are an excellent shinobi now. I'm quite jealous. He notices things I don't. It's not fair. Then we're a good team. We work well together. Well, I won't argue that. But do you really mean as a team? You always twist everything I say. You liked holding his hand before, right? I know, girl, I'm in your head. Ha ha. I wish you weren't. Oh my god. I held her hand. Breathe, boy. We can't have US now. I held Sakura's hand. I get it, big whoop. She didn't hit me for it either. Breathe. Ignoring the bayou, Naruto swung into the hollow inside the mountain, and was surprised to find that it was bigger than he'd thought at first. The cave had a lot of stalactites and stalagmites, leaving little room for an actual tent, but it was a big cave, mostly in darkness, but he could tell that it went a long way back. A small tack behind him told him that his teammate had also just come into the cave. What do you think? We can stay here for a while, right? It's ideal. Sakura lit a flare and put it on the floor to provide some light, in a place that couldn't be easily seen from outside. Really, Naruto, it's a good job you found this place. The rain arrived suddenly and it was torrential. They both set out the camp beds and placed some seals around the entrance so that no one could get in. But, not being tired, they sat opposite each other in deep thought. I can't help but wonder. Sakura began, why Master is testing us again. Naruto nodded, it does seem a bit pointless. Maybe the test with Kakashi wasn't enough, or maybe. Naruto grinned, this is my Chunin exam. He looked at Sakura hopefully. Sorry, Naruto, I don't think so. He laughed, I can hope. He looked out at the rain and sighed, I hope this lets up soon. I really want some ramen. What? Naruto, we just had some. She looked at him wide-eyed, disbelieving. Surely he wasn't hungry. The boy's stomach growled and he smiled a little, embarrassed. Hey. There was a silence, broken only by the dripping of water somewhere out of sight. Sakura-chan. She smiled at him. Do you still love Sasuke? Quote. Sakura bowed her head. Tears began to form in the corners of her eyes. Naruto bit his lip. He hadn't meant to make her cry. I'm sorry, he whispered. Sakura shook her head. Sparkling droplets scattered around her. No, Naruto, don't be sorry anymore. Neither of us could do anything to help him. Naruto looked out at the storm. A bolt of lightning temporarily blinded him and he blinked a few times. She didn't answer your question, boy. She didn't have to. Sakura blinked away her tears, not moving her hands to her face, not once. Damn it. Why am I crying? I don't feel like crying. So why am I crying? She looked up at her blonde companion, her eyes still glassy. He was avoiding her gaze, looking out at the dark sky with a solemn expression on his handsome face. Did I just say handsome? Thunder crashed and a flicker of lightning illuminated the comparatively dark cave. Do I still love Sasuke? Why did Naruto ask that? What made him? Why did he ask me that? The girl turned her head away from Naruto and surveyed the cave. She couldn't see past 100 feet as the darkness became complete and seemingly impenetrable. Looking up, she saw that the cave roof wasn't very high up. It was about the same as a house's ceiling. Maybe this wasn't a natural cave. Maybe at some point in history somebody had made this cave in the mountainside. Tunneled into the rock to form a dwelling or passageway. She looked back at her friend, who was foraging in his backpack for something to eat. She felt another tear slide down her cheek and lifted a finger to it in surprise. Again. Why? Naruto pulled out 2 onigiri and held one out to her wordlessly. She slowly reached out and her fingers closed around it. Thank you, Naruto. He let her take it and sat back against a stelace, looking at her gravely. Holding his onigiri loosely, he crossed his arms over his knees and let his hands hang loosely. He watched her as she ate her onigiri slowly. The boy glanced at his own rice ball and ate it before Sakura had reached the middle of her own. He looked up again in surprise when she laughed. You never slow down, do you, Naruto? She had her head to one side and was smiling at him, such a warm, friendly smile. He felt a pang in his sea and his breath caught. He'd forgotten how good it was to be with old friend, not really doing much, just being with them. In those years with Jiraiya he'd made new friends, he did that a lot, but Sakura was one of his first friends. After years of being alone, Team 7 had been formed, and he'd made friends. True friends. Friends that he would love forever. He'd for those friends, those bonds with others. That damn Sasuke had ruined it all. When he'd left, there had been no more missions for Team 7, Sakura started training with Granny Tsunade and Naruto, with Ero Senengon, had tagged along on other missions, with other friends. He valued the others, but he'd missed the closeness of being with Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke and Sakura as a team. You know me, Sakura-chan, I can't help it. Yeah, Naruto, I know. She smiled some more. You do know me, Sakura-chan, and I know you. That's why. Don't say it, kid, I'm begging you, please don't say that, it's so sickening. Fine. I wasn't going to anyway. Naruto's stomach rumbled. Here, Naruto, have some of mine, I'm not that hungry anyway. She broke the remainder of her onigiri in half and pressed it into his hand. Naruto's eyes widened. Sakura-chan, I couldn't possibly. Just eat it, I know you're S2. She raised a pink eyebrow, it was true, and he couldn't take his eyes off the food in his hand. He looked at her sincerely. Thank you, Sakura-chan. And he ate it. The girl shook her head. Oh dear. They both ate in silence for a while. The flare began to burn dimmer, so Sakura picked up her pack and began to get up. The boy was licking his fingers but stopped and looked at her. What are you doing? She turned and lifted her pack slightly. I'm going to get ready for bed, it's getting later and I want to be awake early to see if the storm is over. She crossed her arms and frowned. You didn't pack anything except the tent and camp bed, did you? I knew I should have helped you. Didn't you learn anything with Jiraiya-sama? Honestly, Naruto. Then she laughed again. She was doing that a lot since their return to Konoha from that mission with Gaara. She dug into her pack and threw the boy a set of pajamas. They're my dad's, but I think they'll fit well enough. They were from when he was a ninja before he lost his leg. They'll keep you warm and you don't have to wear your day clothes tonight. She turned and walked off into the darkness, but I'm getting changed first, no peeking. Naruto's head snapped up. I wouldn't, I mean I'm not Ero Senin. Then, remembering that she was going to change, Naruto quickly turned his head away. Ha ha. Whipped. Stop taking an interest in my life. Someone has to. You're so mean, not. Done. You can go now if you want, Naruto. Sakura tapped him on the shoulder and he did as she said. She cares, not in the way I'd like, perhaps, but she does care. She's not the only one either. I have a lot of friends now, and I'm not alone anymore. I should really do something about that. What? What do you mean? You can't do anything. We'll see. Don't. What? Talk to me. He came back from the dark recesses of the cave to find his friend already in bed, her things neatly packed away. She propped herself up on her elbows when he came back. She untied her Konoha headband and set it by her pillow. He understood. He didn't take his forehead protector off until last thing at night either. God. Naruto, you took ages. I was beginning to get worried. Well, good night. She cares. She cares. She cares. Don't let the QB have her. Good night, Sakura-chan. Please, don't let the QB have her. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.